ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا
Hello and good evening everyone. Today is Monday, February 17, 2025. I'm Suleiman Talash and you're watching RTA News. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that Foreign Minister Maulavi Amir Khan Muttaqi discussed the activities of the Red Cross in Afghanistan during his meeting with Pir Karanbol, the Director General of the International Committee of the Red Cross. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that Maulavi Amir Khan Muttaqi has asked the director of the committee to help determine the fate of Afghan prisoners in other countries. Let's see more in this report.
The Ministry of Refugees and Repatriation in a press release condemned the forcible eviction of Afghan refugees from their homes by Pakistani police in the Balochistan of Pakistan and has called on international organizations to continue their assistance and cooperation with Afghan refugees in their country so that they can return to their country with dignity. Pakistani police forcibly evicted some Afghan refugee families from their homes in Quetta and Kuchlak areas late at night on February 15 and mistreated them.
The Ministry of Refugees and Repatriation Affairs of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan condemns this act and calls the international organizations to assist Afghan refugees in Pakistan by utilizing the local population. It also seeks continued cooperation to allow Afghans to return to their homeland voluntarily.
Meanwhile, Afghan refugees living in Pakistan are demanding that Islamic Emirate and the international community treat them following international principles.
The request of all Afghan refugees from the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan is to bring a resolution to the issues faced by Afghan refugees, particularly those residing in Pakistan. For the past 40 years, Afghans who have lived here, working and earning a livelihood, have raised two generations. There are millions of Afghans, and the policies should not harm their lives here.
Although such actions by the Pakistan government against Afghan refugees and international principles continue and have faced national and international reactions, but Pakistan has not yet given up on these actions.
Mullah Nuruddin Torabi, head of the National Disaster Management Authority, met with the head of Omar, the mine clearance program, and signed a cooperation agreement worth $400,000. According to the agreement, the institute will implement awareness, survey, and clearance programs in 65 districts of 9 northern and northeastern provinces. The Ministry of Refugees and Repatriations has issued a press release regarding the forcible eviction of Afghan refugees from their homes by the Pakistani police in Balochistan and has condemned such actions and called on international institutions to continue their assistance and cooperation with Afghan refugees in that country so that they can return to their country with dignity. On February 15, the Pakistani police forcibly evicted several Afghan refugees' families from their homes in Quetta and Kuchlak areas late at night and mistreated them. Let's see more in this report.
The Foreign Minister's meeting with the Director General of the International Committee of the Red Cross. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that Maulavi Amir Khan Muttaqi, referring to the decades of assistance of the International Committee of the Red Cross in Afghanistan in the fields of health, artificial limbs, and the humanitarian aid, asked Pir Karanbol to help determine the fate of Afghans imprisoned in other countries.
Mr. Muttaqi requested that the International Committee of Red Cross also extend its assistance in determining the fate of Afghan prisoners in other countries. Mr. Pir Karanbol stated that they have already made efforts in this regard. He further emphasized that their decisions are independent of those made by others, and they will continue their activities in Afghanistan as before.
Analysts say that many Afghans are currently spending their days and nights in the international prisons and their fate needs to be discussed. They believe that the cooperation of the Red Cross in this regard is necessary.
This is a positive step, allowing the Red Cross to gather information about how many Afghans are imprisoned in various countries, the nature of their crimes, how long they have been incarcerated, and how much longer they will remain in prison. It also helps assess their health conditions and how they are being treated by those countries.
نن تاسو ګورئ چې نړۍ کې منطقه کې د افغانستان او د افغانانو
Today, you can see that Afghan's future and the fate of its people have become a political matter on the global stage. Everyone is trying to impose their own political agendas on the Afghan people and shape their future, seeking to gain benefits from themselves or to exert political pressure or obtain political advantages.
او یا سیاسي امتیازات ترلاسه کړي.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that Maulawi Amir Khan Muttaqi said the International Committee of the Red Cross is cooperating in many other sectors in addition to providing services to the sick and disabled in Afghanistan, which is commendable.
Sheikh Shahabuddin Dilawar, the Director General of the Afghan Red Crescent Society, met with Zhao Sheng, the Chinese ambassador to Kabul. During the meeting, the two sides discussed strengthening humanitarian aid and some other important issues. 26 Afghan citizens have been released from Pakistani prisons and returned home in the past 2 days. According to the Ministry of Refugees and Repatriations, these people were arrested from different cities in Pakistan for the lack of legal documents and were imprisoned for 2 to 3 months. A private radio station named Angeza has started broadcasting in Khost province. Shah Hussain Masjidi, the director of the Khost Information and Culture Department, during a visit to the radio station, said that the activity of this media outlet is a positive step in providing media services to the people of Khost province. He added that the Information and Culture Department is a joint home for media and journalists. The Islamic Emirate considers the media important and uses it to enlighten the minds of the people and is trying to solve the problems of the media and their employees. Local officials in Nuristan province say that the beryl extracted from Parun's mines, the provincial capital, was sold for 15.5 million Afghanis through an open auction. It's worth mentioning that after the Islamic Emirate retook power, the country's mines are professionally extracted and the revenues are spent on development projects. The Balkh Provincial Department of Mothers and Disabled Affairs, in coordination with a charitable organization, distributed wheelchairs to 101 deserving disabled people in the province, and each disabled person was also given 1,000 Afghanis as fare. And the final one is that Ghulam Rahman Haidari, a spokesperson for the Nuristan Police Headquarters, said that 9 AKM rifles were seized from a former military officer in the Mandol district of the province by the counter-terrorism officers during an inspectional operation. He added that the seized military weapons were registered at the Mandol Police Headquarters and would later be officially handed over to the Technical Directorate of the Nuristan Police Headquarters in the presence of officials. And that's all for tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a good night.
شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوي پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا